Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. How are you guys all doing? We have some great questions tonight, and as always, we are talking about dressage and about horses. I don't think I ever get tired of talking about horses and talking about dressage. It's basically what I live for, and I love my horses and I love riding. So thank you for joining me tonight. We have some good questions. Oh, are you coming?
I made it.
You're late.
I know. I was trying to
You're
get off the
late.
phone.
You're 1 minute late. Oh, I guess my husband is coming with me. He was on the phone
With the shoer.
with the shoer.
Which
That's
happens
important.
to be his best friend, too, so there's that.
Yes, so you have to be friends with your shoer. Otherwise, our shoer will never show up. So, what are we talking about tonight? Oh,
No
it
idea.
was my birthday yesterday. So, thank you all for your birthday wishes. And my clients were very sweet. They all got together and got me cavalettis. Linda's happy you're here. She says, yay, both of you. So, yeah, my clients bought me some really cool cavalettis. They're aluminum on the side, which is really nice because the old wooden ones that I had fell apart. And my husband is...
So it's an aluminum square with a circular receiver welded in the middle of one side. So you do get 4 different heights, and then the jump pole goes right into that receiver.
Yes.
And I just have to attach that.
So we will be doing some videos with cavalettis because I definitely think that it's an important part of cross training, and you can do a lot of good work with your horse, like getting them to pick up their feet, getting them to use their top line, getting them more active using the cavalettis. So thank you to all of my clients for putting that together for me. That was very nice. And we had a birthday party at one of my clients' houses, and her mom brought us fresh tuna.
Yes, that was Saturday's event. Went with the shoer, and he shot the tuna, and then I went down and I finished it off. It's all free diving. It was very, very exciting. We had a blast. So, and then the tuna tasted pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, it was really good. We were basically just eating sashimi. Oh, and the other really fun thing at the party, there was this inflatable bowl, if you saw the pictures of it, and it was fun. It was like, I think it would be good practice for not falling off when you're riding your horse. So if any of you guys want to get an inflatable bowl for your pool, I highly recommend it for your riding. What do you think?
I was very happy that I couldn't get tossed off the bowl on time.
Yeah, you were pretty good. You were definitely pretty good. What else? Oh, so for those of you guys in the academy, last week we did our little workshop on mindset. And I think that for everyone that was in the academy, it was really validating just to hear from other people and to understand that we all struggle with fear. We all sometimes feel like we're not making any progress. We all struggle with confidence, and it's a hard sport, but definitely you're not alone. And we all struggle with that. Like even me, there's times that I just feel like I suck and I should just quit and do something else. So what's your mindset tip, honey?
This too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
You know, everything's temporary. Anything I can tell myself to not get stuck there.
Yeah. But I think you're really good about that, because whenever I come home and I'm like all suicidal, you're like, well, tomorrow's another day, so it's fine.
Yeah, feelings aren't facts, and it's just the way I feel right now, and feelings come like the tide. They come in, they go out. We used to make jokes when I first started riding, this is a long time ago, that I won't say the other person's name from the barn or the barn where we were, but we'd be very unhappy at the end of the day, and we would talk about going to the pier in Ventura and jumping off head first and putting our fingers down so that our hands would be broken into the rocks. So if we did live through it, we wouldn't have to ever think about riding again.
Wow,
So
that's pretty grim. That's pretty low.
Horseback riding was difficult. It's still difficult.
Yeah.
I'm just not so suicidal about it now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is really hard, and that's definitely where you need like community and you need support, and that's what I love about like the club and everything that we do to support each other and to know that like you're not alone. We all have those feelings that we should just give up, or it's so frustrating. And, the highs are really high and the lows are really low. And that's just part of it. Yeah, it's just part of it. So
it's horseback riding, but they're so cute. And then they look at you and then they go, "Hi, you're here. And I know you." And that's great.
The best thing that happened today, this morning, Herman told me that I was like his horse because I never did anything he said.
Yes. That was funny. And you're still laughing about it.
Oh my gosh. He has this mare. Her name's Frankie, and she's pretty hot. She is 5. And do you want to tell them about her?
I got her as a project, and I'm learning all about patience. And just, I like, come here, be light, be soft. And she is for a second, then she tosses her head and just bucks off. And so it's, okay, we're going to start over again. So that was it. And then, I don't remember, what did you say this morning? I said, yeah, you're like Frankie.
Because
you said, I don't do anything you ever tell me. That's what you said that. You said, I don't ever do anything you tell me. And I said, yeah, you're like Frankie.
Yesterday he was telling me how to do the dishes and vacuum, so I told him I would never do that again.
That's
so
not
apparently
what I was
I'm
doing.
like his horse.
I didn't tell you how to do the dishes. That's not what happened.
Look, Anna says that her husband calls her the horse that won't move.
See, that's what we're saying, right? We're all in the same boat together. That's what it is.
Yeah. So then I asked him, I said, well, if I'm like your horse, then you must be like either Harvey or Kensington, which would be much better because they're both perfect.
Yes. I opted for Kensington because I think he's a little more elegant, but anyway.
But Kensington's a chicken.
Yeah, well, I'm a coward too.
Okay.
Do we need to get a charger for that?
No, we're fine. We have plenty of power. Okay, enough on that. What else should we talk about? I guess we should get to the questions.
Yeah.
Lola, please can you tell us what, if any, pull work exercises you do with your horses and why you use them? We talked about that. So yes, pull work exercises are coming.
If you're not doing the cavalettes and you're just doing the poles on the ground, I'll set them up like north, south, east, and west, right? The long way. And that way you can move your circle in or out and get the distances the same. And it helps your horse get looser over the back. They come more through. If you're trotting, if you're cantering, it adds a little bit of jump to the canter.
We'll have to do a video together. That would be fun.
We could do that.
Okay, next question is from Carrie. When starting mounted rehab for a minor hind leg injury, do you have them use their backs at all? Or do you just let them walk and trot around on a loose rein the entire time?
Okay, as soon as you say rehab, I think, oh my God, I hope he doesn't buck off and run sideways. So rehab's tricky. So if you've got a nice calm horse that you can just hop on and walk with some contact, perfect. If he's excitable, then you might have to use some medication to help so that he doesn't go springing away and re-injuring himself. But I do still want to walk forward. I don't want them moving around with pony gaits. I want them to use their back and walk correctly.
Yeah. So
as long as it's safe. That's
Yeah.
That's the caveat with rehab.
Yeah. But I recommend too, I think you should pick up a contact and I think you should get them using their back because you want to strengthen the more that you get your horse's top line working and strengthening their top line,
right,
that's going to prevent them from injury. Like if they're just going around all hollow and jumping side to side, then that's going to potentially cause another injury. And then obviously when you're building your horse back up, just giving them lots of breaks and safety first. Like Herman said, I know rehab is always like, that's when you're going to get hurt because your horse is just not in their normal frame of mind. So you definitely want to be careful and not get yourself hurt in the process. We've both had that happen. So be careful. Okay, this next question is like, I don't know, we could write a book. So Kimberly says, explain the difference between all the dressage terms and moves for beginners. So
say that again.
So basically she wants to know all the dressage terms and all the dressage moves for beginners. That is that's like, yeah, that's a lifetime of learning and terms and, watch some videos. Herman recommended, what is it, the rule book that you
Oh,
keep
yeah. I mean, the rule book explains all the terms are defined in the rule book, which is online now.
And that's the USDF rule book?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the USEF rule book is a really good resource. That is actually what I use as a reference a lot of times when I'm making videos for you guys or when I'm writing posts, because it goes through and it tells you exactly like what is medium walk, what is shoulder in, what is haunches in, what is the volte, and it takes time to learn all of the terms. But I wouldn't obsess over learning everything. I think it will come with time as you move up the levels. You don't need to right away learn everything.
So yeah, the rule book is great because it'll define all the movements. And this is just going back, but I think USDF has a glossary of terms.
Yeah.
For what the judges' comments mean.
Yeah. And then, just keep watching videos, keep learning on the club, and then also the dressage training scale. That's something that's really important. The training scale is really how we train our horses. And next month I'm going to be talking a lot about the training scale in September. I'm going to do a free webinar on the training scale on the 12th of September. And then I also have a masterclass on the training scale. So that's another great way to complement your riding, because it is true when you're in a lesson you often don't get enough theory. So watching videos, reading books can really complement what you get out of your lessons. Okay, Parker says, any special advice or encouragement for a late to the horse party senior citizen who does Western dressage? Your site and videos are marvelous, and I just watched your symmetry interview. I lean to the left, and I'm working on being straight. My quarter horse is so patient with huge try.
So just kudos to you. Well done. You're already doing exactly what you need to be doing. You're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? You know what you know. You know what your problems are. You're working on your problems. As soon as you get those fixed, you'll find the other ones. But you're doing exactly what we're all doing. You're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I think it sounds like you have a really good horse, which is really important. Whether it's a quarter horse, but you need a horse that, like Parker said, it's patient and it tries for you. And that's super important, especially as you get older, that you can't afford to fall off. You don't want to get hurt. But I think that, I don't know. I just had a birthday and my grandma died last week, and I know a lot of people that have cancer right now. JJ Tate just had a double mastectomy, and I think that my advice to everyone is this is your one precious life and you have to kind of seize it. And if you want to ride and if you love horses, then that's what you should do, because you never know what's gonna happen next year or next month. So just go for it and give it all you've got. So, and you're never too old. That's what's really cool about dressage. I have clients that are that have ridden up to their 80s, and that's what's amazing about it.
Right, you just get the horse that works for you. You don't need to get a 4-year-old. You get the horse you can ride, and you can ride forever.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really a special sport in that sense. And I know at the Olympics they were all complimenting Stefan, because wasn't he the oldest person to get a medal or something?
Yeah, he's the oldest person to get a medal.
Yeah, so, but that is what's cool about dressage, is that it's not like gymnastics where by the time you're 16, you need another career.
And when they went in 2012, right, and they're on the plane, right, the athletes with the equestrian athletes, and the equestrian athletes are like, oh yeah, we're going to the Olympics, and the other athletes are like, are you a coach? Because they're so much older.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the funny thing. Are you a coach? Nope. We compete.
Okay, Cheryl says, what are the best exercises to build and maintain top line in older horses with arthritic changes in the hocks? So for those of you guys that are in the Academy monthly workshops, actually next month we're going to be talking all about top line and throughness. So that is a super interesting topic. But anytime you're talking about arthritis, and I know that many of you guys ride older horses, I think that just doing a lot of walk work is really good, because the more arthritic they are, the older they are, the more time that they need to just warm up. So I would recommend, honestly, doing like a lot of walk, halt, walk transitions. That's going to build up the top line if you do them correctly. And
yes.
Yeah. Transitions.
And really thinking about keeping that neck. The neck's a lever. The neck goes down, the back comes up. If the back comes up, the hind legs can go under farther. So when you're thinking about your walk and your halts and stuff, forward into the halt, forward into the walk, where you're not pulling them to stop, that you have an unyielding hand, and you, with your seat, you drive forward into that unyielding hand. So the horse steps forward to halt and not a stopping with you pulling.
Yeah. Okay, Lynn says, what would you do with a horse that gets nervous in the warm-up at a show? My mare bucks and runs when a horse comes towards her or behind her. So I think that whenever, like if you're at a show and you know that your horse is nervous about other horses, then I think it's your responsibility to try to keep your horse away from other horses as much as you can. Like, don't go just to the edge of the arena where you can have a lot of oncoming traffic. Stay more in the middle of the arena. Ride away from the other horses. Ride towards the space in the arena. And then work on it at home. Like, try to get where you ride with someone else who's like on a calm horse with calm energy. And then you need to gradually build up your horse's confidence little by little without overexposing them. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I had a stallion, Pee-wee, it was quite difficult, and he'd clear out warm-up arenas. But what I always thought, like, I don't need to teach him how to shoulder in. I did that at home. So when I would be in a warm-up arena, I kind of knew where all the other horses were, and I was just trying to physically warm him up, keep him on the bit, get him over his back, transitions within the gate, and I didn't care the line that I rode. So wherever there was the most space, I steered for that spot. And then, look up and see, and so that I'm not surprising the horse by ending up on top of somebody, but being really aware of my space and how much room I needed, and just changing my lines and transitions within the gate on whatever line. And I picked the line. I didn't surprise him and go, now I got to turn quick, and freak him out and me and the other people. So it was really just a lot about thinking ahead and going, okay, that horse is going that direction, so I'm going to put myself over here, and not say, okay, I have to shoulder in from this point to that point, but being really flexible with my geometry.
Yeah. And that applies to, like, all the time at a horse show. You can't always, like, ride your test pattern perfectly because there's traffic. And one thing also to note is that in the wild, like, it's very unnatural for horses to be okay with another horse cantering right at them, because in the wild,
they all go one way directions
well,
together.
Yeah, but if the dominant mare is galloping up to a submissive mare, the mare's going to spin and run away. So if your horse is like more on the submissive or shy side, and another horse is coming at them that's more dominant, they're going to think, oh, I should spin and run away because the alpha mare is coming right at me. So it's not natural for them to just be okay with oncoming traffic, or same thing with someone coming up behind them. It's their instinct that they should either kick out or run away when another horse comes up behind him. So you just have to remember that that's their natural instinct to do that.
And give them some space.
Yeah, and then little by little you have to, like, that's a lot of what we do, is that we need to educate our horses to listen to our aids over their instinct. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of training. And it also never completely goes away. So I've been reading this super interesting book. I don't know if I have it here.
The Horse Mind one?
Yeah, I don't know where it is. But anyways, it's a book that really goes into how the horse's brain works. And it goes into like the horse's vision and everything. But one thing that was really interesting is that when a horse sees something, and their vision actually isn't as good as we would expect it to be, it's a little more blurry. But when they see something, it goes right away to the motor part of their brain, and they like will react by running away, as opposed to us where we see something and it kind of goes to our frontal cortex and we process it, and then we decide whether we should run away or how we should perceive that image or the motion or whatever. So that's basically what has evolved to keep horses safe, is that they run away from things that they're not sure of.
Right, and they're in motion before they even thought about it. They're already galloping before they've figured out, oh wow, I'm galloping now. Why would that be?
Yeah. So that's why you need to do, like, get the horse on the aids, get them listening to a one-ring stop or your bending aids or your shoulder 4, is to kind of, not that they still have that trigger and that instinct, but that once they start, to run away, that you can get them back as quick as possible. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Any advice for training a Friesian with a short neck and very forward? A little like a tank, but very sweet. That's good that it's forward. I've ridden some very lazy Friesians, so. But I would say lots of teaching them to bend and yield their hindquarters, and you can do that a little bit from the ground as well. The name of the book I was reading is called Horse Brain and Human Brain. It's here somewhere. I don't know where it is.
I think it's underneath the lazy board.
Oh, here it is. I'll show it to you guys. Horse Brain and Human Brain. It's really a super interesting book. You can see I've put all of these things. And I also, there's this video that I found.
The one with the vision?
Yeah, that shows what you see and then what your horse sees, which is super interesting. And there's this. So that shows you what the horse has really good peripheral vision, as opposed to where we see more in front of us. So it's good to understand how the horse's brain actually works, because it gives you more empathy in your training. Instead of just being like, oh, you stupid horse, why are you doing that? Why are you spooking? You start to see things from their perspective. And I think that is a really important part of riding and training.
Yeah, it's imperative. I mean, I tell people that all the time. Horses aren't coming into our world. The best they're ever going to be is a horse, and we're going into their world, and we have to see it the way they see it, because they can't see it the way we do. It's just not possible for them. So we have to see it from their point of view so that we can solve whatever's going on.
Okay, Anna says, any bareback riding tips? No, I don't ride bareback.
I did one. My last time was, I was 1986. My horse cantered up the hill, and I slid, and he's galloping up the hill, and I slid off the back, and he galloped home, and I walked back a mile, and I was like, I'm never riding bareback again. So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, and it's uncomfortable. I think it's uncomfortable for the horses, too. But I don't do it. My assistant is always riding bareback without a halter, her horses, but not me. Okay, one more question, and then dinner time for us. I'm hungry. So Edie says, I'm very stiff turning my torso to the left, and it affects my horse's ability to leg yield or bend around my inside leg. Are there any exercises or stretches I can do on my horse to improve my suppleness? So one of my favorite ones to do is cause I kind of do the same thing. I'll grab the back of my saddle with my left hand, and then I'll look to the right, look back that way, and you'll feel kind of the stretch through the front of your shoulder, or your pec, I guess it is. So that's one thing I do. But yeah.
I did the reach up and reach back. Really stretch up tall.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because
stretch up.
I
and
want to
back.
roll so up as tall as I can, and then reach back and just open up that space.
Yeah, Tiffany says yoga. But yeah, you guys, take care
the
of your...
The chiropractor helped me a lot.
He told you you're like a stiff old goat.
Yeah, well, it's better now than before.
Take care of your bodies. You need your body to work, to ride well. And yeah, it's important. So stretch and do yoga or whatever works for you. So I think that's it. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
I love it when you come. Otherwise, I feel like just stupid sitting here talking to my phone. So Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Herman, for being here. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.